Well, thanks for taking a look at this. I have made a Google script and Google Sheet that will spit out it sort of automates the process of making bingo sheets for fandom events. So the end result is it makes something like this first, where it has your prompt list for a specific participant, and it makes a grid in whatever size you want. And then you can click another button, and it will fill your template out with those prompts. So I'm going to close these so I don't accidentally work in there when I'm trying to show you what to do, and we'll get started. I do have pretty thorough directions written in the file itself, but I know some people have difficulty learning that way, and I think it would just be a lot easier if I can just show you. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a copy. It's going to warn you that all of your app scripts and stuff will also be copied over. You need all of that. You can go ahead and take a look at the scripts if you want. I've tried to be pretty thorough in my commenting. So I'm going to make that copy. And again, I'm going to go ahead and close that one so that I don't accidentally work in there. So then the next thing you're going to need is you're going to need a spreadsheet of your own, which has all your lists of prompts. So mine is, this was made by maskedkarma, and so what she has done for her bingo event is she has a lot of different prompts themed different ways. So she has it like an AU list, she has a fusion AU list, tropes, etc. And participants can say, I want to work from this specific list. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to copy this URL, and we're going to take it, and we're going to go to our options tab, and we're going to put it right here under a link to theme. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to write out what different tabs we have in that document. So if in your prompts list you only have one tab, you're just going to need to take the name of that one tab. I advise you to copy and paste for more complex tab names because it's a dumb program. If you make a typo, it's not going to know what you're talking about. The other thing to note is you can have as many tabs as you want in this document, but they all need to be filled out in column A. So if you put it in column B, I didn't account for that, it's not going to find your prompts. So AU, fusion AU, tropes. Okay. So that's done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a template. So what we're going to do here is, first of all, if you've made a really pretty background, this is where you're going to use it. We're going to go to Insert, Watermark. Oh, and if you're unfamiliar with making a new document in Google Docs, you go to your drive, so drive.google.com, you go to New, and just click to make a document. So this, again, was made by maskedkarma. Scale 100%. I'm going to turn off the fading. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Page Setup, and I'm going to change the color. And I got this hex code off their template, and I'm just going to make that background color of the document the same color so that when you do a screenshot of this, you don't have to worry about accidentally getting little bits of white in there or something. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do in here now is I'm going to insert a 1-by-1 table. So this bit is optional. The way maskedkarma does for the Rex Obi bingo that I made this for is she wants participant info on each bingo sheet. So I had to hit enter a few times to get on the correct line, but then I just moved the side of the box over to about the right spot. I'm going to nudge this side in a little bit too. And so now, when I run my template program that puts my prompts into my template, it looks for a table with only one row, and when it finds it, it fills it in with the participant info. So if it finds a table with more than one row, it'll assume that that is your prompt list. Okay, so now I'm going to hit enter a few times, and now I'm going to put in the 5-by-5 table where my prompts are going to go. And then to get this to roughly the right size, I'm going to drag that bottom down, and then I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to click Distribute Rows. And I think I went a little too far down, so I'm gonna try that again. And you don't need to make this perfect here, because once you get text in there for the first time, you're probably gonna wanna make some more adjustments. Okay, and the other thing I'm gonna wanna do while I'm here, I'm gonna wanna right click in each of my tables, go to table properties, and turn table borders to 0. There we go. And that's it. That's your template made. Okay, back to the bingo sheet. I'm going to need that URL from my template. Paste that in here. I'm going to name it. So a note here, it doesn't matter what you call your templates. I mean, obviously you're going to need unique names in here, but it doesn't have to match what you're actually naming the document. But for ease of keeping track of things, I would advise that you do that. But up to you, however you want to organize your life. Okay, so these are all the basic items I need to get going. So now, if I go over to my participants tab, the prompt list is validated off of that options tab, so that you're not going to make any mistakes when selecting things. And so is your templates. So I'm going to start with Fusion AU. I'm going to make a 5x5 for myself, and that's all I need to fill in. If I want to do multiple people here with different options, that's all fine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this function menu, and I'm going to hit generate table for all new participants. It's going to pop this up that says a script attached to this document needs your permission to run. You're going to hit continue. It's going to bring you here, and it's going to give you this scary warning that says this is giving you access to sensitive info. And it's going to have your name in here because you're going to own the script. If you want to make any changes in there, you totally can. Then you're going to hit advanced and go to bingo creator functions. So it's going to see, edit, create, and delete all your Google Docs, it says. It will only have access to whatever links you give it in that first options page. So it's going to be just working in this template file. And then see, edit, create, and delete all your Google Sheets spreadsheets. So the permission, so it's only going to be working in this copy you made. And at the end of this video, I will give you a brief tour of the script to show you that. But again, you can look through my scripts yourself if you want. And then you're going to hit allow. And since it popped up those permissions, it didn't actually run. So now you're going to hit that again. And there it goes. So if you want to make additional participants, you just go back here and yeah, it didn't include that because I didn't have it selected. That's fine. So you'd have to maybe paste that in yourself. But don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to make a template for that one anyways because we don't have a 4x4. So if you want to make additional participants, when it runs again, oop, I didn't select a prompt list. There we go. So if you need to backtrack, you'll just delete the link to the tab because when this function runs, it just looks to see if I've filled in this link. So if this is filled in, it won't run. But there you go. So yeah, you see it didn't make a whole bunch of new boards for the ones that had already been generated. But as you can see, this isn't idiot proof. If you don't fill things in correctly, it could get funny. I made this in an afternoon for free, so don't be a jerk to me about it. Okay, so let's go back to our one board that we actually have a template for. And then the thing we're going to do is we're going to place current tab on template. And if we go over here, you can see it filled all this in with I'm going to say it, it's pretty ugly. So what I'm going to do here is now I'm going to make some changes. So after you make these changes the first time, they will all be maintained when you overwrite this with new text. So you're going to need to do some changes up here in your your normal text editing options. I like to center align everything in the table itself and then go over to your table properties, do my vertical alignment medium. I'm going to change this to impact, and I'm going to change the color, no, not over here, I'm going to change the color of my text to the same color as the backdrop. Up here, I think I'm going to make this, I'll make that white, make that into impact. Yeah, I think this needs to be, I'm going to make all the text a little bigger, I think. And you can see that made everything go down a little bit, so I'm going to pop that back up here, and then I'm going to right click, distribute rows. Where's the top of my, right here. Let's bring that up. Man, maybe I should turn my, here. Okay. I'm gonna make this a little smaller, I think. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just editing where my text box, or my table is. And I'm doing that in a really rough way because I'm not great at formatting files. Maybe you have a better way to do this. Up to you. But I was just adjusting the size of the text of the blank lines up here to get it more precise. Alright, I'm going to make this 0 again. I'm still not crazy about that. Let's just edit this ourselves a little bit. So yeah, this is all the stuff you can get really involved in. Okay, now I look at this and I go, I'm not actually totally happy with those prompts. Maybe your participant is like, actually, I can't do anything with cops in it because I hate them. You can go ahead and look at your prompt list and just fill that in with something else. Then what you can do is you can go back up to that function menu and you can regenerate the current tab table, and that will look at your list again and it will remake this. And then you can go back up and you can place current tab on the template again, and you can see that it has replaced cops with something else. The other thing you can do that this has a function for is it can repull current tabs or current prompts. So that will clear that list and then give you a fresh new one. But then again, you will have to regenerate the table again. So there you go. That is pretty much the whole of it. But I did say I would bring you quickly through my scripts. So if you don't care about that, feel free to quit here. You've got it. You can do the whole thing. If you've got questions, you can hit me up at Tumblr. I've linked that in the directions file. I encourage you to try troubleshooting stuff yourself first because I'm big on computer literacy, and I'm big on, trying to make things easier for yourself in fandom, and I see a lot of event runners making things incredibly manual that I'm willing to help provide the tools to make things a little less manual, a little easier. So, but you should, give it a try yourself. I encourage screwing around with this stuff. There's no functions in here to email anybody, so you're not gonna ruin everything forever, and you can always make a fresh copy of the sheet so that you have the scripts working for yourself. Okay, to go through my scripts, you go up to Extensions, App Scripts, it'll launch this. And if you've done any coding in the past, it depends on which code languages you've worked with, but Google Scripts works in basically Java, so it's all dot operators and stuff. So the first function that will open up is just the one that sets up that custom menu. So it's, create the menu, add items, etc. And then the second sheet I have in here is, these are a little bit more complicated, but I've tried to comment them out pretty well. You can see, gets your active spreadsheet, gets your last row. It's all working in this spreadsheet. That's what the get active spreadsheet does. And then it gets the right sheet, etc. But yeah, again, all working within that spreadsheet. Things like when I need to generate a URL, it's getting that URL from this specific spreadsheet, etc. And then, let's see. So this function is the one that generates a new sheet for everything. That's why it's table all. Table tab, this function just makes that table in the current sheet you're in. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward. You can see we're not accessing any other URLs in here. The only time we do is a template URL. You can see this is the one that fills in the template, and it gets that URL from your sheet. It's getting that out of that range. Called functions, these are things I reused a bunch, like this is the one that actually gets your, oh, this is a shuffle array that I stole off the internet. We need that when we get our prompts so that we can change the order. This is the one that actually gets your prompts. Again, it goes to your options sheet, gets the range. Yeah, that, and then gets the URL out of that range, opens it, etc. Yeah, I don't really know what to say here. I didn't plan this out. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Ending on the most boring stuff, kind of a crappy way to wrap this up. But yeah, you can see we're really not accessing anything except the URLs that you put in there. But yeah, I don't know. I encourage people to give this sort of thing a try. I might try and put together a few sort of beginner functions and stuff for fandom purposes. When I've run bangs in the past, I've tried to automate things like emailing a bunch of people, but I encourage you to not start with actual email addresses if you want to do that. There's things like, you can accidentally send 100 emails you didn't mean to send really quickly, and turns out that there's actually limits on the number of emails you can send in free Gmail accounts. So, if you're running an event, that's not a great thing to do. But I make these mistakes, so you don't have to. But yeah, there's me shilling for learning a little bit of code. I hope this is helpful to people. I have not really tested all edge cases here. So if you find a problem, for one thing, don't go out of your way to break this, but if you feel like you're, using this in good faith and doing everything right, and you've somehow found something that's screwing up for no good reason, let me know, and I will try and fix it in the master code. Yeah, that's it. All right, thanks, y'all.